260 miles above the Earth at 12:04 a.m. Eastern Time Sunday morning.
Dragging contact and soft capture complete.
Crew 10 docked with the International Space Station. The relief team for Crew 9, including 2 astronauts who have been on board the station since last June.
SpaceX, Crew 10, welcome aboard the ISS.
Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams were at the hatch as it opened with the new crew made up of a Japanese astronaut, a Russian cosmonaut, and 2 NASA astronauts, Nicole Ayers and Commander Ann McLean.
I cannot tell you the immense joy of our crew when we looked out the window and we saw the space station for the first time.
Butch and Suni's long extended visit started back on June 5th.
Go Starliner. Godspeed, Butch and Suni.
Boeing's Starliner spacecraft launched successfully from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station for a 10-day test flight. But NASA became convinced Starliner wasn't safe, so it left Butch and Suni on the station while bringing Starliner home empty. Butch and Suni have been there ever since.
Every astronaut that launches into space, we teach them, don't think about when you're coming home. Think about how well your mission's going, and if you're lucky, you might get to stay longer.
Suni Williams soon took over as space station commander. Now, with a normal 5-month crew rotation, Butch and Suni are one step closer to coming home.
Great to see our friends arrive. So thank you so much.
An epic space saga for 2 astronauts about to celebrate the end of their very long mission.
In this very unique place it gives you an amazing perspective, not only, out the window, obviously, but also just on how to solve problems. I don't want to lose that spark of inspiration and that perspective when I leave, so I'm going to have to bottle it somehow.
Yeah, I got to say, these guys have had such a great attitude, at least on camera, the entire time. They're true team players. Here's the schedule now for Crew 9's 4 astronauts, including Suni and Butch, to return home. They will start closing the hatch to their spaceship tonight, 10:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Undocking from the station tomorrow, 1:05 a.m. Splashdown in the Gulf, 5:57 p.m. Tuesday, tomorrow. Mission managers said they decided to hurry up the return to Earth, in part because the longer these astronauts are on board, the more consumables they consume, which the rest of the ISS crew is going to need in the months ahead. Guys, back to you.
All right, Tom Costello. Tom, you make an excellent point about their attitudes as well. Thank you. We want to take you live right now to the Kennedy Space Center because we're joined by former astronaut Mike Massimino, who logged nearly 600 hours in space. To that, I would imagine Butch and Suni would say, "Ha, that's nothing." But Mike, let's talk about this handover that's happening. So Crew 10 arrives over the weekend. They're conducting this handover. What does that entail? What does that look like?
Well, Craig, Butch and Suni have to clear out their bedrooms, and the new crew is going to move into the crew quarters that they've been staying in. And it's just giving them all the little things about being on space station. 2 of those crew members that have just arrived have been there before, but things have changed since they've been there. So they'll tell them about what the latest is with the science, especially where they are, what needs to be done, things update on the spacesuits, and the little things like what's new or what's going on with the toilet and the galley and everything else. Just those little tips of what it's like to be there to give them a refresher and introduce them to anything that might be new.
Okay.
Mike, talk about what it's like to reacclimate to life on Earth. We might not realize the physical toll of being there. As a former astronaut, you had trouble just carrying your groceries.
Yeah, I did. You've got to get used to gravity again. When after my first flight, we arrived back here at the Kennedy Space Center, not too far from where I'm standing. I was having lunch with my commander, and he picks up his glass of water, and I'm talking to him, and it seems very normal. He tries to float it, and he lets go, and he got us all wet. And then a couple days later, back in Houston, I'm taking groceries out of the minivan, which I think what you're referring to, and I just, where am I going to put all this stuff? And I reached over my shoulder, and as I'm letting go, I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know what. And then as I let go and it crashes to the driver, I'm like, yeah, gravity. You have to be really careful your first night at home, because when you wake up, if you wake up in the middle of the night or even in the morning and you forget where you are and you try to float out of bed, you're quickly going to be on the ground. So you get these reminders of what it was like and where you are now. And the physical toll is they're going to be fine. They're in pretty good shape. So it's just adjusting the vestibular system and their balance, it'll take a few days.
Yeah.
Mike, one more real quick. Obviously, this has reminded us all that space travel is a very dangerous thing. Are there any specific lessons to be learned from this ordeal?
I think overall, Carson, is just the attitude that you mentioned of this crew. I am so proud of my friends. You know, they did not see this extension as a burden or as any kind of obligation. They saw it as an opportunity. And I think that that's the big takeaway for me, and I think for everyone. You know, in our jobs and in our lives, things change. We need to be resilient. We need to be adaptable and do it with a great attitude. And that's what they did. They didn't see it as a burden. They saw it as an opportunity to contribute to the space program, do some more spacewalks, some great science. And I'm just so proud of them and looking forward to seeing them back here on planet Earth.
Great point, Mike. Thanks.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.